What's up, guys? Welcome to another What's in the Shop. For all you new subscribers out there who are wondering what What's in the Shop is, it's my video series where I share a lot of my projects that I've currently been working on, some I've completed, as well as purchases and just other cool things that I think people would be interested to see. It's the first video series I started doing when I started this YouTube channel. Now, for you guys who saw my What's in the Shop prior to the holidays, you know that I was working on a lot of projects and things to put on eBay. Well, I'm glad to announce that today we're going to be going over all those as well as some other things that I've got going on. By the time you see this, it'll be February 25th. And tonight, be on the lookout for my latest photos story. And I'll mention this at the end of the video, but I'll say it now. All this stuff's going to drop probably Sunday morning. I've got it all pretty much ready to go. I've got to do some double checking, but Sunday morning, everything will be available on eBay. So it's pretty exciting. I think you guys are really going to like this video. So without further ado, let's start unpacking all this stuff with our What's in the Shop. So before we get going too hot and heavy, good friend of the channel, he's been around since the early days of the channel, Michael Maslin, way up there in Canada, sent me a nice care package. And I really, get all this out. I really appreciate all this stuff. Michael is a great friend. We've sent things back and forth to each other. I've done some projects for him. And he's just a great guy. And he sent me this really cool set of snow gear from Cotswold. And I do not have these, actually. I've been meaning to buy a set of these, but I've just never got around to it. And Michael, from the goodness of his heart, sent me this really cool set of snow gear. And, you know, this is the thing about this channel. There's been a lot of people who've done things for me, who've went outside of the normal subscriber lane and just sent me things out of the kindness of their heart. And, you know, it's weird because I don't know what to say because it's so nice. And I always feel like I need to do something back for those people. But a lot of times they're like, no, you know, I just enjoy your channel and you know, take this and do something with it. And yeah, that's what Michael said in his email. But obviously I'm going to do something for Michael to get him back for this. But this is one of the nicest things anybody's ever done for me in this channel. And I really appreciate it, Michael. And I know you've recently battled some stuff, which I know you're doing great. And you're getting back in the fight, and you're chomping at the bit to do a lot of customs and share those with me, as well as the rest of the people out here. So, Michael, I appreciate this. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. Words can't describe how awesome this is, and I appreciate this, and I will find a way to incorporate this into a photo story in the future and definitely give you credit. So, thank you very much, sir. I really appreciate it, all the way up there in Canada. All right, guys, first up, a while back, I think last year, my wife, for our anniversary, got me this really cool G.I. Joe figure from an antique store. She had her friend pick it up, and then he had the amoeba camouflage on there. I did a video on him, but I just recently finished flocking his head. This is nothing great or special, but I think the head turned out great. This guy's going to be back in the fight, so I'm adding yet another land adventure to my collection. Not that I have enough, so this is nothing special. I just wanted to show you guys this figure that I finished up flocking the head on, and to let you know in case there's like one or two people out there that were interested in the fate of this guy from last year. So he's all finished up. All right, so if you guys are familiar with some videos I did a while back where I got a lot of G.I. Joe Adventure Team vehicles in various forms of disrepair, you know that I did a video restoring one of those vehicles, repainting it, fixing it, and putting it out there on eBay. Well, I finally got around to doing another one, and it had some problems, but the chassis is great. The wheels are great. No bends or anything. It's got a couple damaged areas here that have been broken off. So what I decided to do with this guy is I just cleaned him up as best I could, added some of my custom distress decals to it, and I decided to go ahead and just clean it up and call it a pretty much battle damaged or extremely used adventure team vehicle. It's still in really great shape, runs well, the wheels work great. Just aside from a couple of the section loss or the cracks there, or the break-off pieces on the front, this is a great ATV. It's got a few little scuffs and scrapes, but I think it'd be great for somebody's collection. So I don't need any more ATVs. I have a ton. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this thing on eBay for anybody who wants a cool ATV. It's a little bit damaged, but I think that's almost the last ATV that I have from that group of ones I bought. I do have one that I piecemealed out, but I got a separate project coming for it later on this year, so you guys will be interested to keep your eye out for that video coming. I won't say any more about that. I think it's going to be a cool project. All right, guys, so if you saw that video unboxing that Pat from Elite Action Joe, him and his son Jay did for the prototype heads that I sent them a while back, then you know that I've sculpted some kind of cool little heads. That was an entertaining video, Pat and Jay. I know if you're watching this right now, I really enjoyed watching you guys' reaction to opening those heads. It was enjoyable. I'm glad I felt like I shocked you guys a little bit, and I hope that I did, because that's what I was absolutely trying to do, was kind of make you guys scratch your heads a little bit. So I really enjoyed that video. I smiled the whole time. So anyways, I wanted to talk about those heads, actually. I sculpted those from I shouldn't say sculpted. I originally sculpted this head here. If you saw one of my What's in the Shops, I featured this on there, as well as a mummy head. I sculpted this out of polyclay by hand, baked it, and then I did a mold of it and then made some castings. The mold wasn't the greatest mold in the world, but actually when you go ahead and cast it, the imperfections in the mold come out and make the heads look even more grotesque, which is kind of cool. So before we discuss those heads, I wanted to talk about something Pat had mentioned in that video about how, he's tried sculpting, he doesn't know how. I didn't know how I did it. Well, a long time ago, probably about 5 or 6 years ago, I would say, when I first got back into really starting to customize Joe stuff, I found a guy on Instagram called Kane Productions, and he made these special handmade sculpting kits. He did a lot of action figure sculpting and stuff for toy companies, and he was selling these custom kits. I think I bought it for $45. And prior to this, the only sculpting I'd ever done was in junior high school. In fact, here is the first item I ever sculpted. It is a death mask that I made when I was in probably 5th or 6th grade in my art class. So my mom actually still kept this. I was going to use this for something in a photo story at some point, and I still might. So this is the first thing I ever sculpted out of clay. So I have been sculpting on clay before. I started getting into sculpting with polyclay when I was making my homemade mummies. If you go back and look at my photo stories, I have a couple alien mummy episodes where you can see some of the mummies that I've made. I did that hot and heavy for a while. So I just basically bought a custom clay molding or sculpting set of tools, and I just watched videos and just taught myself how to do all this stuff. So you can get ones similar to this at like Hobby Lobby or Joann Fabrics, but this one here is a custom handmade tool set, which is really, really nice. It has a lot of cool tools in it. So that's where I got this from. It's just a custom handmade sculpting kit, and that's what I use to sculpt all my my creepy faces and my Yeti heads and my Bigfoot heads. So, speaking of, I made those heads for Pat and Jay, and they were more along the lines of a shrunken head. I actually, at the same time I made those for them, I came up with a set of what I call dead Joe heads. These are heads of adventurers who have met their fate at the hands of either natives or villains, and that's something cool. I painted them, flocked them. I had you can see this is the land adventurer here. This is the adventurer here. I wouldn't just flock the heads so they'll hang. And then I also did an air adventure as well. So I'm going to put this 3-pack of heads on eBay for anybody that would be interested in them. I am going to make more of these type of heads in different variations. I'll probably do another set similar to what Pat and Jay have. And my original plan was to have these in a cool photo story this summer, and I still might, but I wanted to get something out there to Pat and Jay because, you know, I've been a fan of their channel for a long time, and I really haven't done a very good job of reaching out to some of these other people just because I get busy doing stuff, and I don't know. It's one of my shortcomings, you know. I get tunnel vision and I forget about things sometimes, but I am glad that we've, you know, reached out to each other and got a cool friendship going, and I hope you guys really enjoy those heads, and I really look forward to seeing you guys do something with them. Now, I also had a spare BBI sniper head laying around, and I went ahead and flocked it as well. I don't know if anybody has a BBI figure out there without a head. The bodies are really nice, so I'm going to throw this guy on there too. It'd be a cool figure if you wanted to like put an eye patch over this guy, this eye, the squinty eye. But it's kind of a cool thing. I just went ahead and flocked it with my flocking box. So be on the lookout for those on my eBay page. Okay, so I went ahead and just did a separate set of these deep sea diver chest weight sets. I'm just going to add a couple chains and whatnot to these and throw those on eBay in case somebody wants to add these to their deep sea divers. I don't have a direction sheet to how these are going to be put on. I think people who have deep sea divers and are decent at customization should be smart enough to figure something out. But I'll throw some extra rope and everything else. And I'm just excited to get one of these out there to see if somebody likes this for their deep sea diver. So all you deep sea diver fans out there who want a set of custom chest weights for your deep sea diver, I'm going to throw one of these out there for everybody before I finish up my actual deep sea diver sets that are coming later on this year. Okay, those of you who are familiar with my fuel drums, it's one of the first custom products I started making. Still one of my favorite things to do. I love my fuel drums. I think they're cool. I did this Seawolf submarine one, which is cool. If you're a Seawolf submarine guy, probably ought to have a fuel drum for him. But I also did a heavy-duty motor oil can for it. The thing with these are going to be interesting. So I had a day where I didn't have a very good paint day. You can see it curdled on me. So what I do when that happens, instead of throwing and discarding these out, I go ahead and just weather them with a little bit of brown or black paint and then seal them up so they look like they've been used. I know it seems like a cheap way out, but they actually look pretty good. So still, it's going to be a Seawolf submarine and motor oil set, just like all the other ones I do. Okay, I've had a lot of questions about a yellow fuel drum, a helicopter one. So I went ahead and made a helicopter fuel drum. You can see caution flammable, G.I. Joe Adventure Team helicopter fuel, high octane, a little bit of a distressed decal. I'm not quite done with it yet, but by the time this video drops, I should be done with it. If not, it'll be done a week or two after this. Same problem with the Seawolf I had with this one. And again, I'll weather this, and it'll be a cool weathered motor oil drum to go with your helicopter fuel. So the all-purpose fuel drum is one of my favorite ones to do as well. Doing an all-purpose fuel drum, you can do any color you want because it's just all-purpose fuel. So this is in a hammered steel color. This turned out really nice. I really like the way it turned out. And the motor oil can turned out great as well. So on the back of these, I have a cool late issue G.I. Joe decal. Both of those have that as well. I forgot to mention on the Seawolf submarine one, it has the same type of decal. So if you're interested in an all-purpose drum, this is going to be a really cool one. The ones I've done in the past that are hammered steel have been pretty popular with people. I've always got really good feedback on those. Okay, here's another Seawolf submarine fuel drum in a nice sea-type blue color. It's got a cool decal on it. Again, like some of the previous fuel drums, I did the late issue G.I. Joe logo. The motor oil drum is another one of those that had the paint problems early on, so it's a weathered version. So I think this is a cool set, actually. I really like the color. I know the Seawolf submarine is white, and I know this doesn't actually match the Action Man one very well, but I just think it's a cool color to have. You know, sometimes you just need to add a little color to things. All right, the last of the fuel drums that I'll be throwing on there Sunday is this Tall Boy, and it's also an all-purpose fuel drum. This is cool. It's again got the cool late issue decal on the back. Cool tall fuel drum. If you kind of wonder what the scale looks like compared to the others, it's quite a bit taller by maybe a couple inches or so. These do really well too. They're not metal. They're a cardboard container, but they are very, very sturdy and they hold up well and be a great addition to somebody's collection. The motor oil drum did great when I painted it, so it's nice and cool too. So this is another set in case you're interested and you want a larger fuel drum, all-purpose yellow one. This is probably the one for you. All right, so I managed to locate another map table base. I had one finished. I knew I had one somewhere around here that was done, and I went ahead and found it and threw it on here for you guys. It's a cool map table base. Again, people have left me a lot of positive feedback on these, so I did find one. It does come with maps, so I've got my Spy Island map and the standard G.I. Joe map, as well as a few others that I'll throw in there. I found some old maps that I had from several years ago that I'll just go ahead and throw on there with this one. But if you are a guy who missed out on the last run of map table bases, this is probably the last one I'm going to do for a long time. So if you do want a map table base for your adventure team headquarters or something along those lines, I did find one, so I'll throw that on there as well. All right, so I went to Hobby Lobby a few weeks ago in hopes to grab some more crates for my deep sea diver sets, but they weren't on sale. But what was on sale were these wooden chests. So I picked up a few of these, and I went ahead and just tacked on some decals to them and threw some handles on there. I just did a cool equipment chest. So it's kind of neat. I know that I've done these in the past, and people have really liked these. So this is just a nice standard equipment chest. I did one in orange as well. So threw the parachute cord handles on there. They both have the G.I. Joe logo on the back. So those are kind of cool. I did grab a couple larger ones. I did one in this brown color that I had lying around. It has the G.I. Joe safari hat or mummy adventure figure on there. The decaling kind of went a little weird on there, but I think it's a nice weathered version. Again, out on the back, I put the mummy tomb G.I. Joe head on there. Added the braided handles on these larger ones. You know, they open up. You could store some gear in there. And I did a green one as well, a larger one. It just has a standard G.I. Joe logo on it, braided handles, and it also has a front handle that you can pick up to store stuff. These are pretty cool. Again, you know, when I see stuff on sale, I pick it up and just paint and decal it. So that's what I did with these. I really would prefer to have the chest that I do for the Aqua stuff that you'll see here in a minute. But, you know, if somebody wants just a cool standard chest for their G.I. Joe Adventure Team stuff, you know, I think these will definitely work out for you. Okay, so first up, these are the Aqua Chests. These are big deluxe pieces I put together. If you guys saw my What's in the Shops in the past, you know that I did this cool sea sled using some Buzz Lightyear spare wings. I cast the sea sled handles for the front and did a custom decal on this. I also decided to put it in with this set of stuff you'll see here in a second. The only problem is, shockingly, this doesn't fit in here. The wings are a little too big, so that's the only downside. But that's, you know, I don't care about that. So I did get these chests that I've done in the past, decaled them, and in this one here, we'll sit down and I'll show you what all is going to be in here. So in this particular set here, you're going to get a set of scuba tanks, single tank ones. I actually stick built the harness rig and did all this, cast the pieces and stick built this whole thing from scratch. So I just used an old broken G.I. Joe tank. So you're going to get a single Action Man inspired tank, a set of red custom scuba trunks, vintage G.I. Joe black fins. You're going to get a black G.I. Joe dive mask, and you're going to get one of my custom homemade weight belts. So that's what this whole set's going to be. I think this is a great set, actually, other than the fact that the sea sled doesn't fit in there, which I wished it did. But I think it's a really cool set. So that'll be thrown on there as well. So you'll be on the lookout for it on Sunday. Okay, so the next one is this cool orange Adventure Team inspired colored Aqua Chest. I had a little paint mishap here, but I don't really care. Like I said, these are all weathered decals. It's kind of like part of the chest. It gives it a little bit of character, I think. Hopefully you agree with that. So we'll go ahead and set the camera down and I'll show you what this guy has in it. Okay, so you're going to get a cool set of vintage early issue G.I. Joe Adventure Team dive tanks. They got some melt marks on them, which is cool. Gives them a nice used, damaged look. I think I like that quite a bit. One of my custom dive belts that I made. Cool orange trunks that I made. Set of vintage G.I. Joe fins and a vintage G.I. Joe orange dive mask. This is just a basic, really cool set of standard scuba gear. I like the way this one turned out, just the orange theme of it. I think it all works really well, so be on the lookout for that one too. Okay, the last of the Aqua Chests is this really nice high-vis green, or lime green, or neon green, whatever you want to call it. I really like this one a lot. Go ahead. It comes with a cool sea sled that fits in there. This is a vintage sea sled that I painted and decaled, so that's cool. Let me grab the bag of stuff and show you what's in there. So again, this comes with a Action Man single dive tank inspired rig. I made the rig myself, like the yellow box. This is a slightly different variation, but this turned out really nice. I think you really like this tank a lot. Orange shorts, black aftermarket G.I. Joe fins, orange aftermarket mask, and one of my custom dive belts. So this is a cool set. I really like the way this one turned out. It comes with a lot of cool gear. The dive tanks in particular. That's some of my best work. I really like those a lot. So be on the lookout for that one. That wraps up all 3 of the Aqua Chests that I'm going to have available. Okay, moving on. Now I actually took the time to finish up some dive tank restoration, which I will be doing a video on that later on this year, so be on the lookout for that. And I went ahead and combined these all in some basic scuba sets. I'll show those to you real quick. So this is the first one. This is the tanks right here. I went ahead and refurbished these tanks, added a decal to them. Super cool. It's got a nice elastic portion on the rebreather where you can wrap around Joe's head to keep the tanks up against his mouth, so it looks cool. Cool blue paint color, similar to that Seawolf submarine drum I showed you earlier. Comes with a set of vintage Action Man flippers, one of my dive belts, and these cool Ocean Ramsey inspired tiger stripe dive trunks. The only downside with these ones I'm going to show you here, I didn't have enough dive masks to put them all on this stuff, so I just put the dive masks that I had on the Aqua Chests. I thought it was more important. Dive masks are easy to find for most people, so these are just a basic scuba set. So this is the first one I've got. Okay, the next set, again, I did a restoration of some tanks. Put a decal on these old vintage tanks. Added a brand new rebreather, hoses. You're going to get a set of the orange dive trunks. You're going to get a set of aftermarket Joe flippers, but these aren't the hard plastic ones. These are rubbery ones. I always liked these type of flippers. I thought they looked more authentic. You're going to get a cool Adventure Team pin and my two different versions of my dive weight belts. So I'll go ahead and throw those in there as a set. So I'll be anxious to see if people get this, what they think of the 2 different dive belts. I know I sent Michael Maslin a set of those to review for me, and he liked these better, which probably everybody's going to like this better. This is just, I had these lying around and I decided to create a cool dive belt. So this is the set you'll get here with this one. Okay, carrying on with the theme of the previous set of dive tanks, here's another similar one to that. Comes with everything that's about the same, except the dive tanks are a little different. I molded and cast a brand new oxygen regulator for this one and threw some cool decals on it, but it's a vintage style dive tank. It's had the back repaired, so this will also be in a video later on this year too, how I fixed all these dive tanks. So it's another just really cool basic dive set for you guys. Okay, another dive set. Get out of the way. So this is another cool set of tanks that I just refurbished. Had a little bit of section loss from plastic melting. I sanded most of it out, kept the weathered look to it, used a battle damage kind of look, threw a decal on it, brand new hose, regulator, set of vintage flippers, 2 different weight belts, and a set of orange trunks. Just a really cool basic set. I really like the way the tanks turned out. So again, these are all just basic dive sets. Lastly, another cool set of Action Man inspired dive set. Cool, the cool Ocean Ramsey, cool Ocean Ramsey Tiger Shark trunks. These knockoff flippers, cool weight belt, and then this really cool set of tanks that I restored. I remolded the rebreather or oxygen regulator and painted this in all a hammered steel color and decaled. I think this turned out really great. This is probably one of my favorite sets. So all of these sets will be available along with the Aqua Chests on eBay Sunday. So be on the lookout for these drops. If you kind of really like the nautical or sea adventure style stuff, I think these are really cool sets. So last but not least, I'll be dropping my custom Yeti figure on eBay as well. I really love this figure. I love the way it turned out. Unfortunately, I have another one here, my Wild Man of Kathmandu. I don't want to really have 3 giant figures. I have my Bigfoot or Savage Sasquatch that Chris Andres did for me. But I think, I think people would be interested in one of these. I don't know, guys. It's going to be really up to you if you want something like this. It's a maquette style figure. It has limited posability. It's really cool. Now, G.I. Joe collectors might not even want something like this, but a person who is really into cryptids and whatnot might be interested in this. It's 15 inches tall, scaled for G.I. Joe. It's got a wire and foil frame. It's been furred. The head has been hand sculpted by me. The hair has been applied by me. The hands hand sculpted by me, and the feet hand sculpted by me as well. So this turned out a really cool figure. I used a lot of new techniques on this figure that I did not use on my Wildman of Kathmandu figure, and I think this turned out really great. So if this is something you might be interested in, I'm going to throw on eBay. If it doesn't sell for what I'm asking for it, no harm, no foul, because I'll just keep it in my collection. But if somebody wants a higher end, cool custom, then this is something for you. If you're a Bigfoot or a Yeti collector, like I said, it's limited posability. You can bend the arms, the legs don't bend great. It's not a toy. It's sculpted out of poly clay, so the fingers do have wire in them, but you don't want to drop it because this stuff will break. So you got to be careful with it. But this is definitely one of the better face sculpts that I did. I really love the way this thing turned out. I didn't know if I was ever going to finish this one. Let's do a comparison between this and the Wildman of Kathmandu. The Wildman is just a little bit bigger. This is more of a man style face, and this is more of a beast style face as far as I'm concerned. Both of these I sculpted. There's parts about this figure that I like way better than this one. I did a way better job on the hands than I did on the Wildman of Kathmandu. The feet are about the same. I need to do a better job sculpting, but it's one of those things where the more you do it, the better you get. So this is the last thing I'm going to be dropping. So yeah, that's about it. I really do love this figure, though. This is a cool one. I'm getting ready to start sculpting another figure. And by the way, this is the last stuff, other than some projects I have over here I'm working to complete throughout the year. I don't know when I'll have them done. But this is the last items like this that I will be making this year and putting out. Not true, I guess. I am going to do two or three deep sea diver sets at some point. Currently having the dive suits made down at my mom's sweatshop. My almost 80-year-old mom's down there sewing some dive suits for me, so we're trying to get some kinks worked out on those. But I'm going to have some custom deep sea dive chests at some point. I wanted to have them now, but man, my mom takes a lot of naps during the day, so she doesn't watch these. Anyways, this is the last stuff I'll be doing for a while. So if you are interested in this type of stuff, grab it. You won't be seeing it for a long time. You definitely will not see any more probably dive tank sets like this. I just went through all the old spare G.I. Joe parts that I had in my broken bin and did all this. I've been planning for a while, and I finally got the time to finish it. I will be focusing, however, after all this stuff is done, I'm going to focus the rest of 2022 on creatures. So I'm going to make mummies, more dead Joe heads, some zombie heads, and definitely more beasts. I definitely want to do a Bigfoot. I want to do some type of space monster, maybe another Yeti. I know Adam from G.I. Joe Lost Chronicles wants to do some creatures as well, but we're probably going to have some overlap because I want to do a Wendigo, and I know he is really interested in a Wendigo. But that's the cool part about this hobby. We can all do similar things, but it's all completely different. So, yeah, I'm going to focus on creatures the rest of the year. So I'm really anxious to see if people like this type of stuff, because I think when I looked at the comments from Elite Action Joe, there were some comments that basically talked about the horror element I bring to G.I. Joe, and that's 100% accurate. I'm more of a horror-oriented type of artist. I watch a lot of horror. I read a lot of horror comics. The majority of artists that I follow are horror artists. And I love cryptids, and I love beasts, and I love monsters. And it's kind of something that's kind of like my niche. It's something I'm really good at. So I'm going to stick with the monster vibe of G.I. Joe and try to focus on stuff like that. So, and on top of all that, I've got photo stories I'm trying to finish up as well. I've got a big one planned for this coming year. I've also got some small ones planned as well. So, and I've got some other things I'm working on too that I'd like to share with you guys at some point during the year. So, anyways, this is all the stuff that I'm gonna be throwing on eBay. The G.I. Joe obviously won't be on eBay, but a lot of this other stuff will. I toyed with selling this guy, but I love this guy too much. I've still got plans for him. You'll probably, when you watch my photo story tonight, you'll understand maybe that I have some plans for him. So, yeah, guys, it's been a long road. What's up, guys? I hope you enjoyed this, watching the shop. I really enjoyed doing it. I enjoyed making all this stuff, and I hope you guys like it. Like I said, this stuff will all drop Sunday morning, February 27th on eBay. Tonight, be on the lookout for my brand new photo story. There's a post-credit scene in there as well. I really, really enjoyed doing this one. I think it's a really cool story, and I love the way it turned out. After that drops, I'm going to be taking about a month and a half off. I've got to finish some stuff, and I've got some other things I need to get to. So don't panic if you don't hear from me or see anything from me for about a month and a half. I'm just trying to get caught up with some other things. So other than that, guys, man, I've been pumping out a lot of videos, and I'm really enjoying it. And I'm also enjoying checking out everybody else's videos. You know, there's so many great creators out there, and I'm sorry if I don't get a chance to mention you guys all the time. I'd really like to do a video just talking about all the cool channels that I watch. Maybe I'll try to do that when I come back from my break. So I hope you guys are staying safe out there. Things are starting to get better. I'm slowly gaining hope. Some bumpy roads, though. There's a lot of sketchy, shady people out there doing sketchy, shady shit. I won't go into the details, but, you know, truth will prevail, man. Hey, guys, until next time, cheers.